Well, I don't have my timer, but I think it's close enough to 6:30. We're going to start.
Okay.
I want to call the March 17th City Council meeting for the City of Cannon Falls to order. Could we have roll call, please?
Ringgold.
Here.
Duncan. Here. Gesme.
Here.
Lundell.
Here.
Morris Mattson absent. Montgomery.
Here.
Mayor Altoff.
Here. Would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I hope you've all seen the amended agenda. Could I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Motion by Duncan and a second by Lundell to approve the amended agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, that leads us to public hearings. And the first one, Resolution 2469, certifying unpaid utility charges to be collected with taxes. Dave, you want to give us a little update on that?
Thank you. Each year we go through this, unfortunately, we go through the same process to consider special assessments of delinquent sewer and water utility bills. And you have before you a list of the current delinquencies, pretty similar to what we've seen in the past. I mean, it's kind of in the same neighborhood of amount that we've certified in the past. But again, in order to get these invoices paid or these bills paid, we do hold a public hearing, accept public input from anyone who may be affiliated with the delinquency, accept their comments, and subject to approval of the council of a resolution, we would certify these for special assessments, and they would be paid then through the special assessment process.
Very good. I'll open the public hearing on Resolution 2469, certifying unpaid utility charges. Is there anybody who would like to address Resolution 2469?
Adam Peters. I'd just like to address that maybe instead of having to collect taxes, let's start charging a shut-off fee and a hookup fee. Maybe that way we're not letting people get by with $1,200 a year if they're not paying for 12 months. Why are we giving them that advantage? Not only that, I've lived in towns where they're over 2-3 months late, they shut your water off. Just an option.
Anybody else? Public hearing? Second call, public hearing. Third and final call, public hearing on Resolution 2469. Hearing nothing further, I will close the public hearing. Is there a motion on Resolution 2469?
I'll move we accept it.
Second. Motion by Bringle and a second by Duncan to approve 2469. Is there any discussion?
I have one thing. This one doesn't really apply, but I do think going forward, if there are people that, because maybe they're losing their job because of all this, or for whatever reason, if they can't pay their water bills, I would hope they could call us and maybe we can work something out or do something so we don't have to do this to them in 3 months. Like I said, this one really doesn't apply to that, but going forward, it's something we should maybe look into.
we've talked about this in the past, and, to shut somebody's water off and hook it back up, it's a lot easier to put it on their taxes, I guess. And that's the reason that we're doing it. Well, anyway, there's a motion on the floor and a second to approve Resolution 2469. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, next public hearing, Resolution 2470, is approving tax increment financing plan for the TIF District number 2-8. Dave, you want to give us an update on that?
Yes, thank you. Matt Karstensen and Jen Kelly are here tonight. They are the applicants, the developer of the proposed project in the industrial park. We have talked about their project before, and the council previously authorized us to go ahead and have the preparation of this tax increment financing plan. In order to move it forward officially, we need to hold a public hearing and go through the plan tonight. If I could just ask the audience, and I'll tailor my comments appropriately. I know Matt and Jen are here for this. Anybody else here for the tax increment specifically? Okay. I think what I'll do then is, rather than go through the minute details of the plan, is maybe just to cover a couple of highlights for you. Mike's told me we don't have the benefit of the overhead screen tonight, so you'll just have to bear with me. I know you all have a copy of the plan, but just let me go through some of the maybe the highlights or the most important parts of the plan, at least as far as I'm concerned, representing the city, or as fact Matt and Jen are concerned as the benefactor of the tax increment plan. Again, this is for a 15,000 square foot commercial industrial building to be built in the industrial park. That hasn't changed from the beginning. So what's really happening here is the current value of that property before the building is built, market value, is about $61,000, okay? That's the current value. What generates the tax increment is the proposed building that Matt's building on that piece of property, which will raise the value from a low $60,000 figure up in excess of $700,000 of market value because of the construction of the building. So the difference between that new building value and the current value is what creates the tax increment, okay? This is proposed as a 9-year economic development district, which means that for 9 years, if this plan is approved, that some of the taxes that are paid by Mr. Karstensen will come back in the form of a tax increment, and I'll explain that cash flow in a minute. Some of the values, some of the taxes are not captured by the tax increment district, the single biggest one being the one that's paid to the state of Minnesota. We have a commercial industrial property tax that's payable by the owner to the state of Minnesota. That's not part of the tax increment plan. They pay it, we just don't capture it, okay? So again, this is for a 9-year tax increment district for a 15,000 square foot building. We would expect that the first tax increment would be collected in the year 2022. Remember again how taxes work. If this project goes ahead, the building's built this year. It's valued at January 2nd of 2021 for taxes payable in 2022. So there's a waiting period from the time that the building's built to the time it actually generates tax increment, and that would be the first year in 2022. The budget for this project, that is what costs will be incurred by Matt to build this building on that piece of ground that can be reimbursed with tax increments. Not everything can. So in this case, in the budget, we've got the cost of land acquisition, site improvements, the preparation of the land itself, sewer water extensions, grading, soil correction, etc. Kind of the things below the building, if you will, are typically eligible for payment with tax increment financing. And that's what's proposed here. So we've got $113,000 or $114,000 of associated costs that could be reimbursed with tax increment in the budget. In addition to that, there's the time value of money, the cost of interest over time, again, from 2022 to the year 2030. What we typically do in a case like this is we would issue a note payable to Karstensen. We'd put an interest rate factor to it, and interest can be also paid with tax increments. So in this case, the budget projects $41,000 or so of interest over the life of the district. And finally, administrative expenses. We, the city, end up paying for the cost of establishing the district. We, as a city, end up paying for the cost of annual reports that go to the state auditor. So the tax increment district law allows the city to retain some portion of the tax increments paid over time, not exceeding 10% of the increment. So we've got about $17,000 of money that would come back to the city to pay administrative costs over the life of this district. So that's the cost side of it. On the revenue side, it's only tax increments that are available for capture to pay these costs. There's no tax levy, unlike the tax abatement that we did for the Grand Stay Hotel. That's a different program. In a case like this, it's only the real estate taxes paid by Matt Carstensen under the law that can be used to pay off these costs that I just mentioned: land acquisition, site improvements, interest, etc. So there's a budget established in the plan. I won't show the map, but for you all know this, we've looked at the site before. Matt's purchased about 9 acres in the industrial park. The south acreage only is within this tax increment district. So part of the land that was purchased is not part of the tax increment district. It could be in the future if a district was created or this one were modified, but it's only the south portion of the lot now where the building's being built that's part of the district. What I'll say on the cash flow, and this is Exhibit 4, Jen and Matt, what the cash flow projection does in a plan like this, it takes the annual tax increment revenues projected over the life of the district. We've used a little inflationary factor. We've assumed that the valuation will increase 2% per year. But over the life of the district, we take that tax increment revenue that's coming in. The state of Minnesota, not the property tax, the state auditor takes a little bit of cut out of this because they monitor on behalf of the state these districts. So there's a little bit of a deduction for the state auditor. There's the 10% share coming back to the city. And then what's left is what's available as tax increment. And in this budget, it's about $154,000 that's left after paying those other expenses. The last thing I'll mention is maybe the most important thing for Matt and Jen, and that's how does this benefit them? What if the city approves this, how does tax increment get from them paying taxes to Goodhue County to us getting that tax payment from Goodhue County to us paying it back to them? How does that really work? It's quite simple. The way it works is if this plan is approved, that we would issue a tax increment revenue note payable to the owner, okay? So we would set a present value number in that note, and then over time repay that principal amount plus interest, solely with tax increments that we receive. So we issue a note to them. If, which won't be true, if the tax revenues came in exactly as projected here, which they won't, they absolutely will not, we can guarantee that, because it's going to fluctuate from year to year, but every year, as they pay their taxes, we receive their taxes from Goodhue County, we write semi-annually a check back to Matt, and we only pay back a portion of what we receive. It's not like a bond where we say we owe this much principal, this much interest every year, and you levy to pay that. It's not like that. The only revenue that they will get back is based on what they receive. And then that note will set a cap. It says if in 9 years you get all your money back, great. If in 9 years you pay less taxes and you don't get it all back, that's fine too. We don't make up the difference. Okay, so what the note, and this is Exhibit 7 that I'm referring to, Jen. In the note, we establish a principal amount of $113,600. So we have a note payable to the owner, in this case Matt Carstensen, for $113,600. We pay, in this example, a 5% rate of interest on that money. So we've got about $41,000 of interest. I talked about that earlier in the expenditure budget. So we pay the note plus interest at 5%. So we've got $154,000 of revenue. Remember I said earlier in the cash flow, that was what was left after the state took their share, we took our share, that's what was left, the $154,000. That's what we use to pay back the $113,600 note plus interest of about $41,000. Again, in the plan, this is what's authorized. The only way it can be different of this, that is, the only way it can be higher than this, is to go through an amended tax increment plan. So we would hold another public hearing and you would come in. I'm not expecting that we would do that, but that's one way that it can be changed after the fact if this plan is adopted. And if this plan is approved and we write a tax increment note, a development agreement, that will come back to you for approval at a future date, and that would include the note payable to them. The district's ready to go. The building's built. Starting in 2022, on a semi-annual basis, they pay their taxes, they get some money back, up to the maximums established by this plan. We can't exceed this number at the public hearing or in the draft plan. So it's a little bit different than the tax abatement project that we did for Grand Stay Hotel in a number of ways, but it's still using property taxes not yet received. We're using future value of those tax increments to pay expenditures that they're incurring this year to build their project. So in a nutshell, very quickly, that's kind of going through the highlights. As you would imagine, as you looked at the plan, there's a whole lot more in here than just the things that I mentioned. Thank you, state legislature. But at the end of the day, it's really about the money, and it's really about the understanding that Matt and Jen had 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months ago when we started this, working with them, and they decided to purchase that property based on the anticipation that we would work with them on the tax increment plan. We're here tonight to do that officially with a public hearing. And if you wish to go ahead with this, there's a resolution that would adopt this. And if that's done, we'll send that information to Goodhue County. The district will be certified. We'll have a development contract prepared and be back with that at a future meeting. So with that, I'll stop if there's any questions that you may have, or if Matt or Jen have anything that isn't clear to them.
Anything?
Scott, you got all this? Okay.
Anybody? Questions? Okay, well then I'm going to open the public hearing for Resolution 2470. Anybody would like to speak to the approving the tax increment financing plan for TIF District 2-8? Anybody would like to address the council? Second call? Third and final call. Hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing and entertain a motion for Resolution 2470, approving the tax increment financing plan for TIF District 2-8 Carson Truck. Second?
I'll second.
Motion by Gesme and a second by Duncan to approve Resolution 2470. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
I'll step by, cover something with them quickly while you continue.
Okay. Okay, that brings us to the consent agenda. Consent agenda items may be adopted under one motion as presented or may be removed for discussion and resolution as council business. For you at home and in the audience, I'll go through the consent agenda. Item A, just and correct claims for the accounting period ending March 11, 2020. Item B, minute meetings for the February 18th, 2020 City Council work session. Item C, minute meetings for the February 18th, 2020 City Council meeting. Item D, the Mill Street bike rack proposal. Item E, disposal of excess property. Item F, Resolution 2471, accepting a grant for $1,000 from Mayo Clinic for the Artisan Plaza Farmers Market. Item G, Private Utility Systems Ordinance Consideration. Item H, Resolution 2472, authorizing a swimming pool committee. Item I, approving a 2020 Economic Development Program. And item J, hiring of a 2020 pool manager. Is there anything on the agenda the council would like to pull down?
I want to pull down
Go ahead, Steve.
D.
E, we'll make that our council business. Item 7C, the Mill Street bike rack proposal.
Can I do letter J, please?
Letter J,
Yeah.
we'll make that item 7D, hiring of a 2020 pool manager. Anything else? I'd take a motion to accept the consent agenda with the exceptions of item D and J.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bringle, second by Duncan to accept the consent agenda with those two exceptions. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, moving on to council business. At this time, I'm going to read a proclamation. It's the City of Cannon Falls proclamation declaring a local emergency. Whereas I, John Eltoff, the mayor of Cannon Falls, finds that under the authority provided by Chapter 12 and related laws of the state of Minnesota, the following situation exists. We're at peacetime emergency due to the COVID-19 health pandemic. Whereas the governor has issued an executive order 20-01 declaring a peacetime emergency and coordinating Minnesota's strategy to protect Minnesotans from COVID-19. And whereas the mayor finds that the situation presents an unforeseen combination of circumstances that is sudden and unforeseen and could not have been anticipated. And whereas the mayor finds that conditions in the city of Cannon Falls, Minnesota have worsened considerably as a result of the evolving situation. And whereas the mayor finds that this situation threatens the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the community and threatens the continuation and effective delivery of city services. And whereas the mayor finds that the situation poses a threat and may cause extensive personal injury, damage, or disaster to the city if not immediately addressed. And whereas the mayor finds that the traditional sources of relief are not able to repair or prevent the injury or loss. I therefore, the mayor, declare the situation to be a local emergency effective at 7:56 on March 17th, 2020. This declaration of a local emergency will involve the city's disaster plan and authorize appropriate communication, community containment and mitigation strategies. The portions that are necessary for response to and recovery from the emergency are hereby authorized. To the extent that normal state laws and city policies and procedures impede an efficient response or compliance with federal and state directives or recommendations, the city administrator, emergency manager, director, and designees are hereby authorized to suspend compliance with those laws, policies, and procedures as authorized with the governor's declaration and MS 12-32 and take those actions deemed necessary to protect the public health and safety. With that being said, we'll go to item 7B, which is Resolution 2473, to extend the period of a mayor-declared local emergency. And I would take a motion to approve. Or motion for.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2473.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Duncan and a second by Montgomery to approve Resolution 2473 to extend the period of a mayor-declared local emergency. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Just to go a little further, we're going to have a work session after this council meeting. A lot of actions have already been taken in the city. Well, you see what's happening in the city and in the country, but the library is closed, and we'll go through their procedure. We've got a plan from the fire department, and we'll discuss that at our work session, because we will also be discussing whether we're going to close City Hall too. So we'll do that at the work session immediately after this council meeting, so. Okay, that leads us to item 7C, which is the Mill Street bike proposal. Steve, you brought that down?
I brought that down after we discussed it, Wes and us at the Public Works meeting and with by Cannon Falls and Goodyear County Public Health. And I'm rethinking the placement. I really don't want to give up that parking spot. And I'm okay with everything else we talked about, getting the sculpture and everything, but I think we should take a look, maybe put it in a different spot. I don't know what everybody else's opinion is, but right there on the corner, boy, I just don't know.
I was at that Public Works meeting, and I don't think there was anybody that opposed the bike rack. It's kind of unique and all that, but I know there was questions on where to put it, and they proposed it right in front of the cheese cafe there, Cannibal Cheese, and what we could do is approve the bike rack and then, look at a placement of it at a later date too. I don't know, it's gonna be a while, I think, before it gets done, but I know the bike Cannon Falls people want to push it through, so.
Yeah.
Were there any other locations talked about?
They talked about right across the street on the south side there.
Yeah, there's-
That was discussed, possibly in the north side of the city parking lot, close to where the building that just got demolished, in that area, for Tillian, the winery, in that area, so it'd still be visible. But I think their selling point was they wanted the visibility. That's why that spot, I think, was their number one.
Yep. Also, whether they were okay with it or not, but they did maybe agree that it could be in a different spot. I'm just, I'm no longer comfortable with it in the corner. Wes, help me out here. What do you think?
I would hate to give up parking. That's hard.
One spot?
Well,
Parking's a premium on that
boy,
road
if-
right now.
That was part of the discussion. But
Yeah.
we're gonna lose it if we put it on the north side or the south side,
Yeah.
one spot.
yeah, right. Yeah. Be better on the south side, I would think. But
I guess what you were talking about, Wes, and we were
Southside.
at that meeting, was if that's where they want it, you want to try it and have it.
you can always take it out, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's
Take it out and move it, I guess.
Yeah, they could move it.
Yeah.
Another thought of maybe down by the trailhead itself, the parking lot there. I mean, it'd still be visible, people driving by there.
The tie-in,
Right in downtown.
right. The tie-in with the cow, I'm sure is
Yeah.
kind of what they
Well,
wanted
and
too.
to be honest, part of the discussion was, obviously, we get a lot of bike traffic, and yes, the trailhead in the city parking lot, that's good. But they said for the businesses right there on Mill Street, because that's where, when they talked about how full their bike racks were last year.
Yes.
So having another bike rack there, it's not just the visibility, it's honestly that they need a
It's a
place to
good
put
thing.
bikes so that they're not just putting them up on the sidewalks and
Yeah.
dealing with pedestrians.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, somebody make a motion to accept the way it is and try it, I guess, or?
Well, as long as we discussed it and it's kind of a thing where it's not going to be permanent, so I guess I'll make a motion to give it a try. And if we get too much feedback opposing it, we'll have to discuss moving it.
Second.
Second to that? Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, item 7D, hiring a 2020 pool manager. Derek, you pulled that down.
Just wondering if for some reason the pool doesn't open this summer, does she still get paid, or what would happen with her in that scenario if it were to happen? Does anyone know?
Laid off, isn't she?
Would she
Yeah,
just be out?
Only paid hours of service, right?
Yeah, okay.
hourly paid, so.
Okay.
We did have a conversation on how long this whole COVID-19 thing lasts. You know, if it's July before it starts going again. Doesn't like date or school.
Yeah.
Right.
We want to look, you know, get her started so she can kind of get the ball rolling and just make sure that any applicants that do apply are aware that.
It's not a guarantee.
Right,
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, I just wanted to,
Right, we're not gonna have to make a decision until May on whether we open it or not, depending on how
Yeah,
this whole thing shakes out.
Yeah, okay.
but we're gonna move forward with getting the pool prepared, so we're not
Right.
gonna fault unless
Right.
you guys direct me to do that, but, we're gonna get it ready to prepare it for
oh, that's all for me.
No.
So I'll make a motion to hire Miss Huseth.
Second.
Motion by Derek Lindell and second by Matt to hire Haley as our 2020 pool manager. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, reports. Kyle, anything from the chamber?
Thank you, board members, and greetings to all community people. The Chamber's direction has really changed this week. And so I want everyone to know that on the Chamber's webpage, and that is www.cannonfalls.org, we do have an emergency community link that I have a listing of up to 12 local, state, and national links to keep you up to date on the latest. And so I am also sending out daily updates that I hear from the chamber members. And that is going out to all of the chamber members. And so just a couple that affect the community is True North Church. You can call Pastor Scott Wildenberg. They will have volunteers to help with childcare for working parents and making deliveries to homebound people. Yes, the Cannon Falls Library is closed, but they actually are operating. They will do street side delivery, those kinds of things, and that is only through March 31st. Goodhue County Historical Museum is closed until April 15th. All of their programs have been canceled. Artisan Plaza will be doing home deliveries as well as pickup deliveries. Weber Family Dentistry, postponing all appointments until April 1st. If there is a true emergency, you can call the office and they will get you in. Here's a piece of good news. Don's Crumble Beef sandwich truck will be here on Friday starting at 10 a.m. He is not included in the restaurant entertainment group of people that have to be closed as of today. Because he's inside, there's a good distance between him and the customer. They're allowing him to be available. So on Friday, 10 a.m. till whenever, he will be there for a change in menu. Cannon Falls Lions also has volunteers. You can call Diana Albrecht. Cannon Golf Club is closed for the fish fry on March 20th and 27th. And they will be announcing, they'll be having their stockholders meeting rescheduled for May 2nd. Brewster's will be doing pickup orders from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., 7 days a week. Ferndale Market is also doing pickup availability. Go to their Facebook page to find out what products they have available for pickup. As Mayor Altoff mentioned, the Cannon Falls Fire Department, they're canceling their last 2 bingo nights at Brewster's. They'll be doing their TV raffle that is at the end of the bingo. They'll be doing that on March 26th, and the winner, of course, will be contacted. Summit Golf Club is closed until March 28th. And the last but not least at all is Mayo Clinic. Sent out an announcement today that Mayo Clinic Red Wing is set up for testing for COVID-19. You do have to call in to be approved for the test. Then you go over to Red Wing. If your name is on the approval list, you will get the test. If it's not, you will not. So please call Mayo Clinic for approval. Just this afternoon, the Chamber sent out a survey to our Chamber members, asking questions in regards to the economic impact is going to have on their business and their employees. When I get those answers, I will definitely share them so that we can have a real grassroots information level of what's going on. If anyone has any other suggestions of what the Chamber can be doing, I am right at the Chamber office. We're open from 8:30 to 4:30, and our phone number is 263-2289. And we are here to service you. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle.
Brad, county report here tonight.
I'll hand out just some information. Probably most of you have seen this, or will see it shortly. And I'm going to focus a little bit on the county's role a little bit in this. County made some decisions today at our meeting. We'll be going to 1 meeting a month. Will be, and I know you guys are probably discussing some of that tonight, your actions, how you're going to move forward. Goodhue County's probably in a little better position than some because we've always had all of our drills with the nuclear plant and we already have a lot of preparedness in place. Not for this. It's different. So we've had a group in public health and human services for 2 months been working on this as soon as it started. On just trying to put all the pieces in place that our position is. I think most people need to realize that the Department of Health is kind of the place where this happens. If there's a test that became positive in Goodhue County, it would be notified through MDH, not through a local provider. Most likely it would go through MDH. Most tests are retested at CDC once they've gone through and been tested here. So understand that there is a process for it to go through there and then come back to the county. Our county people are, I can't tell you how many phone calls a day they're on with staff at MDH, staff, CDC meetings that they're on
to get all the information they need. And Kyle, you were right about the testing, but I temper that with there still is a major shortage in tests. We need to know that. The one thing I want the public to know and you to know, if there's a department at the state that I have the most confidence in, it is absolutely MDH. They have been building relationships with all of the partners in this for the last 30 to 35 years. They started that regional programs, regional groups, plus a state group. And we have commissioners that sit on that. Past commissioners have sat on that. And it's a very well put together and well thought process how they do that. For the public, we can't stress enough. It sounds simple: wash your hands, cover your cough, stay home if you're sick. It is critical that you do that. That is the only way we are going to mitigate this spread. In the back of the packet I handed out, there's the most current map that shows the counties. They didn't increase today, even though we went up from 54 to 60 positive tests. They're still in the same 13 counties. Yesterday, when it went to 54, I think they added 3 or 4 counties. 3 counties, I think it was yesterday. But know that we have a pulse on this. We have an excellent team at the county working on how we'll respond if we get a positive. And we're responding now. We're responding to schools, we're responding to churches, we're responding to you. Anything you need, please contact the county offices. One thing that you can do is you can go on the county website and sign up for the Notify Me. Just go on the site. How to is the tagline you go to. It'll take you down, and you can sign up for the Notify Me, which will notify you every time we put something new on the website. It will get you all of these. It will get you all the different notifications we put on there. You can also sign up for Code Red there, which will notify you too, in case there was a tornado. The other thing you can do is you can go on Facebook, if you are on Facebook, and sign up for Goodhue County Health and Human Services to be on their website or their Facebook page. That's getting updated multiple times a day. There's always something new that we're putting out there that for the public to know. We're trying to get information to you as fast as we can get it, but tempering it with it's going to be accurate. We don't want anything out there that isn't accurate. With that, if anybody had any questions. Just one more thing I want to say. Kyle, I got from Chamber of Commerce in Red Wing, I got an email today that talked about find it here. Scams. And it said, Cass and Stewartville, Rochester, and the Twin Cities have reported some issues with people showing up at homes claiming to be CDC and doing inspections for COVID-19. That will never be the case. So people know if somebody comes to your door talking about it, it is not legit. Don't fall for it. Kyle?
There is one other scam that is, it's an application that they want you to purchase. And supposedly it's going to track the coronavirus by delivering up-to-date figures. Do not respond to that because it will lock up your phone and shut it down. So there isn't a software out there to catch the latest figures.
The other thing I will say to the public is, and I realize a lot of us, including myself to sometimes get caught up in the angst of this and the fear of this. as I said, we have the best people working on this. I have all my confidence in them. I have all my confidence in the medical system in Minnesota. We are far and above the rest. But it is a little bit scary. Reach out to that neighbor down the street who might need your assistance for something, an elderly, a single parent. Reach out and just give them a contact number so they can get a hold of you. You can get a hold of them. Check in with your neighbors. It is a time of compassion and empathy. We need to be concerned about those around us. Doesn't do me any good to wash my hands if the neighbor can't wash theirs because they can't get soap. We just need to think globally about this in our community. We need to be concerned about everybody, not just ourselves. So I encourage you to do that, especially the elderly that are around you. It may be better if you went and got their groceries instead of them going to the grocery store. You know, some of those things. And if you're healthy, maybe just sit down and have a cup of coffee with them. You know, we can't totally isolate ourselves. We can still converse and we can still meet our neighbors on the sidewalk and talk. Get out and enjoy when we have nice weather. It's not all doom and gloom. We will get through this. It's going to be hard on businesses. We all know that. It's going to be hard on a lot of things, but we'll get through it. Just have some compassion and empathy as we do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad. Okay, Public Works Commission met on March 2nd. Wes, yeah. We've talked about the bike rack. That was one of the things.
Yeah, we had the bike rack. Well, we talked about Tim Nighthouse building down there on 4th Street. We were able to trace a 3/4 inch galvanized line that runs inside that 12 inch all the way down to the post office. We were unable to get the camera down that 12 inch because there's a pipe protruding into that 12 inch 54 feet away from where we entered the pipe. So we were unable to get the camera underneath that. So the next step that we talked about was digging up that alley since we have a location of the pipe now. We didn't know exactly where it went at first, so we have a location now. We can dig there and then camera it from there or see where our blockage is. Try to relieve this water from Mr. Nagel's building. So that was kind of the talk on that. We talked a little bit about mill and overlay. Unfortunately, Tony and I haven't had time to connect. He had his second baby last week, so he's been out, and I was out for a conference last week. So, but I got some numbers from Greg at SEH, kind of some estimates, and we're looking at probably that Ridgecrest Evergreen area because the utilities are still in good shape. They're fairly new, but the roads just need to be fixed up a little bit. So that's kind of the area we're going to be looking at for that. Yeah, then the on-site systems, we talked a little bit about that. I'll be looking at the wellhead protection stuff since it's close to our municipal wells to see if that's going to be a concern to the Department of Health and our wellhead protection. So I think that's about all we talked about in the meeting.
The dead cow, or not the dead,
Jeez.
It was sleeping. Sleeping.
sleeping cow, I'm sorry, apologized. I guess he left. The bike rack. And then the disposal of
Yep.
your excess equipment.
Yeah. What I got for that?
Yeah, you're referring, it was on the consent agenda, the private utility system ordinance thing. Yeah. We're looking into that. Okay. Library Board, Mary Jill?
Nothing.
Nothing. EDA met on March 11th. Of course, we talked Cannonball.
Yeah, we talked about Cannonball. We talked about the 2020 Economic Development Program, which was on the agenda tonight. And then also the digital marketing program. Laura Qualley came and reported on behalf of Blandon that we've got 5 applications now from local businesses who are going to take advantage of the Blandon grant that we received for broadband use and promotion in the community, matched by a partial deferred loan by the Economic Development Authority. So we've got 5 applications in the queue right now, and I would expect we'll be seeing more as an EDA, going forward. So Laura gave an excellent report to us on that.
Okay. Let's go around the horn here. Let's see who we got here. Wes, you got anything else?
Yeah, depending on staffing and how this whole COVID-19 thing works out, tentatively, we're looking at April 13th to start flushing hydrants in town, so it depends on how this thing all shakes out. And also, kind of on that Coldwell Baker thing, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to find contractors or materials coming down to do anything on that. So that's kind of dependent on that, staffing and what we have time for, so.
Did I ask you, you still got the pump down there? Or it's running now?
Yeah, we were able to clear it out enough to get a first coat with rubber fitting, and then we were able to 2-inch pipe it across the floor with PVC instead of having the pump run all the time. We're just using the head pressure of the well dumping into the drain, so.
Gotcha.
The pump is still down there in case something were to happen. It did, but it was kind of leaking all over the place. So this is working out good with the piping.
Okay.
That's all I have, I think.
Joe, you have anything?
Chief McCormick would be here tonight, but unfortunately he couldn't make it. He did start 2 weeks ago of updating the city's emergency plan as the emergency management director. We've kind of relabeled what our operation plan is called. Right now it's called the Highly Infectious Contagious Disease Operation Plan. So he started updating that, sent that out to department heads so that we can have a most current plan, as we will probably be taking this into effect starting today, tomorrow. So the finalization of that will be a working plan to protect our citizens, protect our employees, and I'm guessing we're going to talk more about that after the meeting here. So that's really all I have.
Steve?
Dave have anything? He doesn't have anything. Okay. As everybody can see, we're kind of spread out here tonight, and I know Michael was probably instrumental in getting us all hooked up here, so I want to thank him for getting us set up like this. That's all I got.
Matt?
I want to say thanks to Wes and all the people at Public Works doing some patch probably almost a month ago now, or 3 weeks on 19 right at the turn. There were some people that complained about that. Very smooth, well done. And at the compost pile, that's been cleared out, that controlled burn, everything looks really good. I know that ever since the tornado, that area had been packed. And you guys did a good job throughout, and that controlled burn and clearing it out. It looks like we're, whatever this spring, summer, fall will bring when we can finally get out and do stuff, but you guys are ready, so thank you.
Bill?
Tonight is Dave's last official meeting as administrator, as Neil will take over next Monday. I want to publicly thank Dave. Most times when city administrators leave, they give your 30-day notice or whatever, and then they're off into the wild blue yonder. Dave kindly consented to help us in our search, and ending with having Neil come on board next week. Most administrators would not do that. I know Dave's even going to stay a little longer to work on some other things, get Neil acclimated next week, and then I believe some EDA type of activities. So I just wanted to acknowledge Dave and thank him for basically going above and beyond. So thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Derek?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Dave as well, not only for your many years of service, but also for staying, longer than you had originally planned. I think it's going on a month or two now, so thanks for everything and wish you the best.
Mary Jill.
Also, thank you, Dave. And I want to publicly apologize. I've been touching my face throughout this meeting. I just
Oh, right.
realized that. I'm sorry. Where's the hand sanitizer? That's it.
Okay, I had, in the audience, and you pointed him out, as our new administrator, and I'll point him out over there, Neil Jensen. He'll be coming on board here next Monday. But Dave, yeah, it might be your last meeting here. I think we got pretty close up there.
No, you're going to come back to just watch us because we're so fun.
We appreciate,
See?
we appreciate, we appreciate your service and hope you have a good life ahead of you, so. Okay, with that, I'm gonna open public input. I think I forgot at the last meeting.
Forgot it.
Citizens may speak to issues not on the agenda. Before speaking, please give your name and address for the record and kindly limit your comments to 3 minutes. Public comments must be respectful, pertinent to city business, and adhere to the applicable data privacy rules. The city council will not take action on any issue raised by the public, but may choose to schedule consideration of that item on a future